Self-conscious, and I'm tapping in with another live stream. Trump train, top of the hour. Double tap the stream for the win. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Turn on all post notification bells. Tell a friend to let a friend know your boy Self-conscious is live. Trump train, top of the hour. Y'all know what time it is, man. So I had somebody to get these videos up for me, right, with this inflation, right? And what I want y'all to know is this right here, right? The thumbnail, don't take that thumbnail literally, right? Don't take it literally, right? I don't want you to take the thumbnail literally. What I really want y'all to do right now, what I want y'all to do is check out this video that I'm finna put up for y'all, right? I want y'all to check out this live stream that I'm about to put up. I'm about to play some on this TV, right? And I want y'all to pay close attention to this interview with President Donald Trump. Because, see, make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. A lot of y'all guys, man, are missing the point, bro. A lot of y'all peoples out there, man, y'all so lost in the sauce to y'all to where as though y'all don't even know what the hell is going on no more, man. Y'all taking stuff out of perspective, man. We gotta go through something in order to get through something. And that's what I'm striving to get y'all to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop this, man. Trump train is, you know what I'm saying? Like, and for the most part, I must honestly admit, right? I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like that everything is all perfect, everything is all good, grits and gravy, man. Y'all gotta understand, man. This man putting work in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, I tell you, man. Let me get this video up, man. Let me get this thing going on for y'all on this TV, man. What's going on, Sonny? What's up, moderator? What's going on? Let me go ahead and play this video real fast. Cause I think y'all missing the whole point. Uh, I'm gonna show y'all something. I want y'all to listen to exactly what President Trump had to say, and then I'm gonna get back on live stream, bro. I'm gonna get back on live and do my thing. But right now, y'all need to hear what my president had to say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Something very spectacular. There's nothing quite like it. And they give you a choice of about 7 different desks, but this is the one I chose. Ronald Reagan had it. FDR had it. A few people had it, but I found it to be the most beautiful.
It is amazing.
This is an amazing space, and amazing maybe architecturally wonderful, but amazing for what it represents. It represents the U.S., and if properly used, a lot of good things can happen.
I see Ronald Reagan over there.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan.
Right to your left.
Being in the Oval Office.
Y'all tap in,
Very
man.
important. See Ronald Reagan here, and put him a little bit larger. It sort of seemed to fit very nicely. You have Democrats a little bit. You have
Franklin Roosevelt.
Franklin Roosevelt. So you look at that picture and people say, well, what's he doing up there? But look, he was a serious president, whether we like it or not. He was a 4-termer and went through a war. You have Lincoln, you have Washington, but you look over here, that's Monroe, the Monroe Doctrine.
Why is he up there?
I think the Monroe Doctrine was pretty important. That was his claim to fame. Over here you have the original of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, and of course you have the Declaration of Independence.
What does it mean to you?
Well, it means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. It's a declaration of unity and love and respect, and it means a lot, and it's something very special to our country.
Lincoln's portrait up there. I'm not familiar with that one, but I think when I'm looking at that famous line in the second inaugural, with malice poured down with charity toward all.
Well, he was a great president. He went through a lot.
And the Oval Office is always changing between presidents. And that says something. What does this say about how you feel about the country and the office?
Well, I think it says I love the country. I mean, I'm putting pictures of presidents up that have never been up. Pictures that weren't largely used. And in many cases, great men, in this case men, but great men of great achievement.
And your every detail, it seems.
Yeah.
This is your office.
I'm a very detailed person. I'm a very clean person. I like cleanliness. I like to see this space be treated properly. I've added a lot to the space in terms of beautification, In terms of modernization, that's
It's a gallery of presidents.
it really is, it really is. So, and it's an honor to have you people with us.
Mr. President, thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much.
Here in the Oval Office, it's special. 100 days into your second term. So, what's the one thing, just one thing, that you think is the most significant thing you've done so far in these 100 days?
Well, I think maybe the border is the most significant because our country was really going bad. They were allowing people to come in from prisons, as you know, and you've heard me say it, but you've heard a lot of people say it. Prisons, mental institutions, gang members, murderers. We had many murderers, 11,888, they think. Some murdered more than one person. So you had murderers coming in, you had everybody coming in, and not just South America, from all over the world. They were emptying their prisons into our country. And now it's totally closed down. And you've seen just yesterday, they announced 99.9%. Nobody thought that could happen. And it happened quickly, very quickly. And I think that's very significant. But we're doing other things that are very significant. Results will take a little bit longer because it's one of those, it's complicated. It's many years of trading abuse. We've been abused by other countries for years and years. They laughed at us. They thought we were stupid people. And we're fixing it, and I think that's going to be very, very important. But I
have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, I would really say that the border is so important.
And we'll get there. Immigration, huge, and we're going to get there. But I want to start with the economy, the number one issue for so many people, for just about everybody. It's one of the main reasons that you're back in this office, and now we have this trade war with China that Moody's and other analysts say is going to cost American families thousands of more dollars per year. And there is a lot of concern out there. People are worried, even some people who voted for you saying, I didn't sign up for this. So how do you answer those concerns?
Well, they did sign up for it, actually, and this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We were losing $3 to $5 billion a day on trade. We were losing $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion a year, not sustainable. They were taking advantage of us like they've never. I could have left it that way, and at some point there would have been an implosion like nobody's ever seen. But I said, no, we have to fix it. I've wanted to do this for many years. I had the best economy during my first term. We had a tremendous economy, tremendous success, and we did tremendous numbers of tariffs we took in a lot of money from tariffs, China in particular, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. We had no inflation, as you know. We had an incredible economy. We're given credit for a great economy. But I said, we have to fix this, otherwise it's just not self-sustaining.
Well, one of the things you ran on was you said you'd bring prices down on day one, and that it would happen fast, and that it would happen fast.
I have.
Most economists will tell you that tariffs will raise prices. So don't your tariffs cut against that promise you made to bring prices down?
No, because I had massive tariffs on China, if you remember, in my first term, and we had essentially no inflation, like around 1% inflation, which is like a perfect number. And then when Biden took over, it went through the roof. It went to probably the worst inflation we've ever had. I mean, we had an inflation nightmare. Now, if you look at what's happening now, we're only there for 100 days, as you say. And in 100 days, we took over. We had bad inflation for 4 years, for 2 years especially 2 years of his administration. I would say record-setting like we've never seen. They say 48 years, the worst in 48 years. I say it was much worse than that. Yeah. Right. So now if you look at what's happened, energy is down. Gasoline hit $1.98 in a few states during the last couple of days. It was $3.50 and $4 and $4.50. But gasoline is way down. When I took over, you remember the big thing with eggs. They hit me the first week, eggs, like it was my fault. I said, I didn't cause this problem. This problem was caused by Biden. What's the problem with eggs? And they said, they've doubled. Well, eggs are down 87% since I got involved.
A lot of that is
and by the way,
food.
And there were plenty of eggs for Easter, which we just went through. There were plenty of eggs for Easter. They were saying you won't have enough eggs for Easter. My secretary did a fantastic job on eggs. Groceries are down, everything's down, interest rates are the same. Interest rates should be down, but we have a Federal Reserve that wants to be stubborn, they want to be cute.
We'll get to that. You said something a couple weeks ago that struck me. You said concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices, you said, quote, hang tough. It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should expect, some hard times?
I've said that during my campaign. Look, we won a campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. You know, we had a tremendous campaign. I said all of these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not
But
going to let that happen.
hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead. Look, since I came in, gasoline is down, groceries are down, egg prices are down, many things are down, just about everything. You know, you don't have the drop in fuel and energy and oil like we did. I took it from maybe $3.20, maybe more than that, down into a much lower number. When you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
Not now, but it's the tariffs, right? We still have 145% tariffs on China. Your Treasury Secretary said we basically have an embargo on China.
Look, you're trying to say something's going to happen.
No, okay, well,
nothing's going to happen.
You know business.
Terry,
I want to ask you.
I do know business.
Yes, so 145% tariffs on China. And that is basically an embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion a year. They were ripping us off like nobody's ever ripped us off. And by the way, we have other countries that were just as bad. If you look at the European Union, it was terrible what they've done to us. Every country, almost every country in the world was ripping us off. They're not doing that anymore.
I want you to think about the boom that this country has had in small businesses, mom and pop, Etsy stores, small businesses that
really?
became
They haven't had a
businesses.
boom because of inflation.
Well,
the
you know,
boom,
what
the
they've
boom
done
was inflationary boom. The people were wiped out with inflation. I mean, you read the news, you do the business
now
stuff,
they
I
face,
assume.
now a lot of them built those businesses on the trading model.
Yeah, and they're going to make more money
They
now.
sourced their products overseas, and now they're looking at an extinction
I've
event.
been here.
It's a disaster for them.
I've been here for 3 months. I've taken a trade deficit down to a number that's very, very starting to get really good. I just got here. We had a country that it was not sustainable. What Biden did to this country between the open borders where criminals poured into our country, between every country in the world ripping us off on trade, it was not sustainable.
So your message to those small businesses who are saying, we can't live a month, 2 months with these tariffs. Apple got a big deal. Is there something for them?
No, not only Apple. We've got $7 to $8 trillion being invested in our country in 2 months. Biden didn't have that over a year. I mean, if you look at Biden, nobody was really investing in this country. Everybody was ripping off our country. Apple's putting up $500 billion, but that's only one of many companies. Companies are flooding into our country right now.
So your answer to the concern about the tariffs is everything's going to be hunky-dory.
Everything's going to be just fine. It wouldn't have been if I didn't do this. I had a choice. I could leave it, have a nice, easy time, but I think ultimately you would have had an implosion. Our country had inflation that was worse than they've ever had it before. You don't mention that. Why don't you mention that? We had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. People say 48 years. Probably in the history of our country, we had the worst inflation. And people were dying over the inflation. You know that. Now the grocery prices are coming down. The energy prices are coming down. Gasoline's coming down. It's all heading in the right direction.
Okay, let's move on to immigration.
Coming up.
It is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods.
Hardee's Original Bag. 2 full-size favorites, fries and a drink, just $5.99. Or choose 2 double cheeseburgers for just $1 more. A great big bag of original goodness, just $5.99.
first 100 days continues.
Okay, let's move on to immigration. And as you said, it is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods. And so I want to ask
About my message?
Methods. About your methods. How you're
They
accomplishing
seem to
this.
work.
Do you acknowledge that under our law, every single person who gets deported gets a hearing first to make their case?
Well, are we talking about people that are citizens of our country or not?
No, you're deporting citizens at this point.
Well, let me ask you, did they get hearings when Biden allowed 21 million, because I think the number's 20 million people to flow into our country? You had 21 million people that came into our country through a stupid open border, and they were prisoners, and they were people that you don't want in many cases in our country, right? They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo, they came from South, they came from all over the world. We're talking about some of the roughest countries in the world they had here, including terrorists, by the way. Now,
But the
did
law-
we give them a hearing when they came in?
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well,
you acknowledge that.
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this: if you're going to have 21 million people, and if we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, we're going to have to act fast. We can't. Do you think we can give 21 million trials? Let's say each trial takes 2 weeks. Is that what you want us to do?
The law
Give
is the
21
law,
million?
sir. The law is the
No,
law. and
no,
you're
the law
sworn
doesn't
to
say anything
uphold it.
about trials.
No, not trials, hearings. I said
These
hearings.
people came in, they're not citizens, they came in illegally, they came into our country
Right.
illegally,
And
we
there's-
have to get them out.
There's a legal process for that.
I can't, sure, and we follow the legal process. I can't have a trial, a major
I'm
trial
not
for
saying
every
that.
person that came in illegally. We have thousands of murderers that came in. They're gonna murder people. They already have murdered people in our country.
Right, too.
We have to get them out,
They're
and we have to
bad
get them out
guys,
fast.
really bad guys. But in our country, even bad guys get due process, right?
If people come into our country illegally, there's a different standard. These are illegal, they came in illegally.
But they get due process.
Well, they get a process where we have to get them out, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Venezuelans.
They get whatever my lawyers say.
Right. All right, let's talk about the Venezuelans. You deported more than 200 Venezuelans to that prison in El Salvador. You say they're violent, they're gang members, they're terrorists. Many of them don't have a criminal
are,
record
by the way.
at all.
Well,
I want to.
I'm not so sure about that if you take a look.
I want to read you something.
Excuse me, when you look at those people, they were violent people. They were violent people.
But many of them don't have a criminal record
Go
at this
ahead.
point. So I want
That's
to
what
read
you
you
say.
something. Well, it's based
Go
on
ahead.
their lawyer, what their lawyers
Go
have
ahead.
said. Okay. Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump supporter, about the deportation of Venezuelans. He said, quote, rounding up gang members and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, he said, was dangerous, and added, quote, we got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters.
I
Is
agree.
Joe Rogan right?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, we want to be careful, and we are careful. We're doing something that has to be done. We have a country that's very sick. Joe Biden, and it's not him because I don't even think he knew what the hell was happening, but the people around him are vicious people. And what they've done to the country is unbelievable. They've allowed 21 million people to pour into our country. Many of these people are criminals. They've allowed you mentioned Venezuela, the jails of Venezuela to be emptied into the United States. Do you know Venezuela crime is way down? Way, way down. You know why? Because their criminals are now living happily in the United States of America, and we're getting them out. And I was elected to get them out, and we're getting
Under
them out.
the law. It
And
sounds
we're
like-
getting them out fast, and we're getting them out legally. Now, in some cases, we have judges. In some cases, they're radical left judges. What happened the other day where a judge was protecting a criminal was horrible. And I think she's got big problems, frankly.
Well,
And there are a couple of them like that.
I want to talk about one
Wait a
man.
minute,
Yep.
we have to be treated fairly by judges. And we're not being treated fairly by all judges.
Oh, that's a subject. So you're saying that you don't like some of the rulings, some of the court orders?
I think the rulings will be overturned, yeah.
Well, let me ask you about one man and one court order. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him to facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us, should not have said that, and just so
Said
you
it in
understand,
court. Said it
the
in
person
court.
that you're talking about, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from
I'm
Maryland.
not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
Came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
ordered
not.
you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers
You're the
that don't
president.
want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he
Supreme
is.
Court says what the law is.
Listen, I was elected to take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, a great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying what a mistake they made. A man who was grossly incompetent allowed us to have open borders where millions of people flowed in. I campaigned on that issue. I wouldn't say it was my number one issue, but it was pretty close. I campaigned on that issue. I've done an amazing job. I have closed borders. He said you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would never happen. Well, it happened. And it happened very quickly. Wait a minute. When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it. And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. So let me.
That was Photoshop, Terry. You
He
can't
had
do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it's Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine.
No,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
When
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
But
they're in your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles. Okay?
We'll take a look.
It's you do such a disservice.
We'll take a look
Why
at that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested. Ukraine.
Coming up, the Russia-Ukraine war.
Don't
You
forget,
think he wants
this
to
is
say
a
Vladimir Putin?
YouTube, man. Y'all come on in the room. Y'all capping, man. Y'all capping today, boy. What's up with today? What's up with this today, man? Y'all capping, man. Y'all capping today, baby. Y'all got to get them likes up, bro. Like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on all post notification bell. I told y'all I was going to come back. And I came back because, as promised, I was going to post some videos. I went to the grocery store today. I know what the prices was on this stuff that I posted today. But no, I had somebody that wanted to come on my live and they say, man, you lying, man. Food prices ain't going down. Listen here, man. Let me tell y'all something. Donald Trump done been in office 100 days plus. This man that did so much for this country in a short period of time. And we not giving the man enough credit for the great job that he's been doing, bro. The reason why I'm showing y'all this video, because as always, it justifies and solidifies everything that I'm sharing with y'all. I can't make it up, man, if you watching it, bro. And this ABC News anchor, he need to lose his job. They need to take his job away from him right now. You got no business setting up there trying to contest my president. You have no business up there trying to question what Donald Trump is doing for this country. You trying to convince this man that he need to get on the phone, call back to El Salvador, and tell them to send this murderous killer back over here in America because, quote unquote, he's supposed to be up under a protecting order. We not going for that. You came over here illegally. You was not born in America. You're killing peoples over there in your country, and you think we're going to have them back over here? See, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, bro. Don't nobody want Donald Trump in office. They didn't want Donald Trump in office, bro. I mean, it's plain. It's plain they do not want Trump in office. This man is literally sitting here telling Donald Trump what he needs to do. Trump is the president. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Double tap the stream for the win. Like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on all post notification bell. Tell a friend and let a friend know Self-Conscious Live right now, man, because I don't like what I'm seeing. Somebody sent me this clip and told me to play this clip. And that's why I'm playing this clip. I didn't even know this clip existed. This clown, ABC, NBC, whoever he is, man, this man have no right questioning the president about what he doing for this country, man. He don't have no business, no reasons to do that. But you know what? It's all good and dandy, right? I just wanted to come on and share that with y'all. I'm about to get off this live stream. I'm going to tell you why I'm about to get off this live stream, right? Because for one, the Democrats has been reporting me, right? That's number one. Number two, y'all ain't fighting, bro. So I'm not going to come on here and waste my valuable time, right? Hold up for 1 second. I'm not going to come on here and waste my valuable time. I can't do that. No, sir. We're not going to do that.
It does feel like something's happening.
Let me go to here. Click there.
Posted this on social media. There was no reason.
Oh, yeah, it's time to get off.
To be shooting missiles into civilian areas and cities and towns.
I see y'all again in the